welcome to Influences Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Harrischuk, and today in the studio we have Cait Jermey. K-VIII is her DJ name and also producer name, is a dynamic, rising talent in the electronic music scene, known for weaving an unforgettable mix of house, techno, and popular grooves. As a DJ, producer, and founder of Play Productions, an event company dedicated to elevating female and underrepresented voices, K-VIII leaves a lasting impact with each set. Her performances captivate audiences both online in her thriving Twitch community and live with standout sets at Ephemera in Tulum and in Amsterdam's underground dance scene, with performances across Canada, the US, Mexico, and the Netherlands, as well as a lineup of guest DJs on her Twitch streams. K-VIII is dedicated to creating inclusive, transformative musical experiences, influenced by festival legends and driven by a passion for connecting diverse crowds. She seamlessly adapts her sound to bring any dance floor alive. K-VIII, welcome to Influences Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on the program. It's a real treat. So I'm going to start off with, how'd you get into DJing? Take us through the journey.
Sure. So I got started getting into electronic music when I was in university, but I didn't really start going to a lot of events or festivals probably until my late 20s. I grew up in Barrie, and there's really no scene for it there. It's more top 40 and country music. So it's funny, I moved to London about 7 years ago from Toronto, and at a certain point, I looked around and I was like, wow, all my friends are DJs. But I never really thought about doing it myself until I was at a birthday party for one of my friends about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. And my friend Richard Kay, he showed me what he was doing. And I was like, oh, really? That's what you're doing? Okay, I can do that. So I hopped on and I was playing for probably a couple hours. It was probably brutal. But
Was
I
it
was
in
having,
a was it in a live space, or was it in
yeah.
like an apartment or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was at my friend's house for a birthday party. So it was just like a house party.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hopped on. I was just having so much fun. Like I was loving it. I'm sure the transitions weren't great, but they let me play for a couple hours. And then after that, I went home and I was like, okay, I need to get myself a controller. I want to do this. So yeah, that was kind of the start of that. So yeah, I've been DJing for about just over 2 years. But I have a background in music, so I think picking it up it felt fairly easy. And I do think it is like fairly easy to learn, but I think it's harder to master and to do really well, which is one of the things that I like about DJing, because there's always room for growth and there's always something more that you can learn. And it takes so much time and practice to get good at it.
So
So
yeah,
I still
because
was, yeah,
I
go
see I
ahead.
see a guitar and a synthesizer or an electronic piano behind you.
Yeah,
So is that
keyboard.
like when you say you have a musical background? Is that what you mean? Like you actually played those instruments before?
Yeah, so I can play a bit of piano, a little bit of guitar. I'm not good at that. I was never really good at instruments. I never just really had a passion for it, but I've always had a passion for music. So in terms of my background in music, I started dancing when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, and I danced competitively until I went to university. And I started singing and competing in singing competitions as well from a pretty early age. And then later I went to York University for opera singing.
Oh
So,
wow.
so
Opera singer.
yeah,
Wow, that is so
I know
cool.
it's been a while since I've
You want
done
to
that,
belt one out
but
for us or what?
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem. I don't want you to say pass on that one.
yeah, I passed. Thank
Yeah.
you. I still sing here and there. Every once in a while, you'll catch me singing something. I'll play a little bit of piano and sing on Instagram or something like that. But
Oh man, that's
usually
so
it's
cool.
more,
I want to hear
yeah.
that.
Usually it's more like pop songs and stuff like that. I can just
Yeah.
chord on piano. But my family is very musical. My mom, my dad both play guitar. My mom taught guitar. Um, my brother plays violin, piano. He sings. He went to school for University for Music as well, and he teaches at high school. So I think I'm just used to being around it. I joined a community choir after university. My mom, my brother were in it. My brother's boyfriend, who also went to University for Music. So I think it's just something that I've been around for a while. But I think just translating that to electronic music, and that's I think like a newer passion of mine in the last like 15 years maybe.
Okay.
Um, so yeah,
So you're quite experienced then with electronic music.
more so now, and that's really what I focus on now.
Okay. So how long were you DJing before you transitioned into producing?
Yeah, I started producing not that long ago. So I started learning to produce in late 2023, taking courses through FemHouse. And then this past summer in 2024, I started taking lessons with Dowden, who's a progressive house DJ, and he's someone that I went to Burning Man with a few years ago. So it's probably about a year after starting to DJ that I realized that learning to produce would be really helpful for making sets, for something I could use, express my creativity. And most importantly, what I want to do is create tracks with live vocals and hopefully put some of that opera singing or just singing
That'd be
to
awesome.
good use.
I'm buying
Yeah.
that for sure. Burning Man, eh? You're the first person I've had on who's actually said they've been. What was that like?
It was the year that it was flooded. So it was
Oh, it
definitely
was
an
that
experience.
year. Wow. Take us through that
Dude, it was
one.
quite the experience. Well, I ended up breaking up with my boyfriend during the trip as well. So that made for a fun. And then the flood started and then the rain started. So it
Very
was
Old
a bit of a
Testament.
it was a bit wild. So after I came back, people were like, "Oh, you probably don't want to go again then." Like after that experience, and I was like, "No, I totally want to go back. I need a redo.
A
It's gonna be
redo. I
even
love it.
it's gonna be even better."
I'm a big fan of the redo myself, quite honestly. So,
Yeah.
um,
So I do hope to go back. It's amazing, especially for DJs. Like I was DJing there and it was just so much fun. And you get to see, I think bigger DJs, you could just go past a small camp and be like, oh, if you know who it is, then you're like, wow, I can't believe this is happening right now. It's just really cool.
yeah, I got a ton of questions for that because I actually was thinking maybe I wouldn't mind checking it out, but it just looks very intense in a way of like accommodations and whatnot. And I'm in a little bit of a different stage in life where, I'm more of a family man now and stay in
Yeah.
hotels and whatnot. So,
It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. It's like preparation is key because there's nothing that you want to make sure you have enough food, resources, sun's like you need whatever you need to survive a week in the desert.
yeah, no, and if I knew someone who actually would kind of guide, like I think you need a guide, like for a guy
Yeah,
like me anyway. So,
I think it's helpful to go with a camp who has been before, knows what they're doing. So you do have some people you can ask questions to and that
yeah,
sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, let's get back to the questions here. So, which
Yeah.
do you prefer then, DJing or producing, and why?
Yeah. So I'm still pretty new. I'm still pretty new to both, but I think right now I still prefer DJing. I'm still I don't think I'm where I would like to be with producing. I mean, I'm not where I'd like to be with either, but um I think as I get better at it, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll end up liking producing more. I don't know, but I like the creative challenge or the challenge and the creative outlet for both. So I
Yeah,
do enjoy both.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So define popular grooves. What kind of music are popular grooves to you?
Sure. So to me, popular groups would be like beats and tracks that are popular and accessible to the majority of people. So when I think of like top 40 remixes, when I think of popular grooves or um, top songs in different genres or catchy beats that people are familiar with.
Right.
I think there's some DJs that maybe hate on popular music, but that's what I see playing at all the bigger festivals. Like you go and watch any headlining DJ or headlining set, and you're gonna know a ton of the songs, mostly as their own or others remixes, not the original version. But I think that's also why learning to produce good remixes, I think, is something important if that's the kind of sets that you want to play, if it's not like the underground stuff. Uh, yeah, I think just producing really opens up room for more creativity in your sets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome answer. So when did you start your Twitch weekly live stream?
Yeah, I started that live stream at the end of 2023, and I started it as a B2B stream with my partner, Mikey the Kid. And it's funny because if you had told me 5 years ago that I'd be going on camera every week in front of strangers and my friends and family, I would have laughed and been like, there's no way. Like, I'm not doing that. And I think COVID and being on camera more often for work and just getting more comfortable with it and being able to take things as a learning experience. I think that's been something that even where I even considered doing something like that. So really, it was something that I wanted to do to push myself out of my comfort zone, and that's why I started it. So one of my biggest fears was being on camera, and couple that with playing unrehearsed sets with people that I'd never played with before. That to me was like an exciting challenge, and yeah, I still get nervous every week, but I take that as a sign of growth and that I'm on the right track. I feel like I never want to get too comfortable or play it safe. Yeah.
Yeah, well, tell us, tell the listening and the viewing audience when it is and how we can watch it, Go for some promo on that.
Perfect. Yeah. So it used to be under my DJ name, but I've recently changed it to be under Play Productions Canada, which is my event company. So it's every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/ Play Productions Canada. And yeah, that's where we'll find. I do a pre-show. I've started a pre-show so we can get to know the artist a little bit like you're doing right now. So that's interesting. And then we get into the sets, and yeah, it's a different genre sometimes every week, but it's usually a lot of like tech house, bass house, and then like progressive melodic techno. Um, that sort of thing is like what I have on the streams a lot.
Nice. So yeah, no, I've tuned in. I've really enjoyed that stream. It's one of the better ones out there, I think, because
Oh, thank you.
yeah, no, that's the one thing like I haven't gotten into live stream yet because I do a little DJing myself, obviously, and
Yeah, I see from your
yeah,
decks. That's awesome.
yeah. So the one thing that I find about live streams, it doesn't really matter who it is, but after about 15 or 20 minutes, it's kind of like more of the same. But I like how you do your variety, talk a little bit, talk to your guest DJ and whatnot, and I think and I like how you shout out the viewers as well, and kind of have a conversation with them. I've seen other artists do that as well. So I think that's a little more engaging than a DJ just kind of standing there and you're watching them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think
I
that was the
mean,
thing. You want to make it more engaging and like talk to people that are there. I think that
yeah,
makes it more fun. It makes it more fun for me. I'm sure it makes it more fun for
yeah.
them. So
I
yeah.
think the viewership's going to watch if they're included in it too. And I talk a lot about community in the show as well. And one reason I want to get you on the program is because you seem to be very community oriented, you know. And I appreciate that as a viewer, as a lover of house music, as an electronic music fan, and a DJ. So kudos to you on
Awesome.
that. But I want to
Awesome.
know
Yeah, definitely.
how has that helped with your success as an electronic music artist, the live stream?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just been about one, it forces me to practice every week. So there's that. I think it's done nothing but help me to get better. I think it's helped me to get to know some of the artists that are here locally. It's one thing to see them out at events, it's another thing to see them in a different space and get to take that time one on one to like get to know them a bit. And you're playing with them. So you get to know the kind of music that they play a little bit better, the style. So I think in terms of community, like you're talking about, it's been a way for me to really get to know the community more. And I think it's been good exposure for myself um, as well. So, I mean, some good and bad, but I think mostly positive. So,
I think so too. So I know that I mentioned your company Play Productions. You mentioned it as well as we were having a conversation. But I was wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about it.
yeah, definitely. So play productions started because I had been asked to run an event, and I just thought to myself it would look more professional if I had an event company running it versus just myself as an individual. So I never really set out to be running events. Wasn't really something that I was looking to do. Even now, like I love the organizing part. I love the feeling after the fact, but going into the events, I always get nervous. Like I always want it to be good. I want people to have fun and enjoy their time. I want the DJs to feel like it was worthwhile for them to play and a good opportunity. So I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes, and I do always want it to be
How did that
professional, good quality.
how did that come to be? Like I'm interested in this because I find living in the Toronto area, it's really tough to get gigs. And I find that a lot of people I talk to on Influences podcast, they talk about having their own parties. And you've gone one step further in having your own company. So tell us a little bit about how that came to be, and also maybe, how do you get venues and how do you book the artists? Where do you find them? Is there some sort of an audition?
Yeah, I think I am lucky in that because I had a lot of friends who were DJs, I also had a lot of friends who were event organizers. So that's something that a lot of the DJs that I work with were already running events. So I knew a lot of the spaces that they were using for events. I started with one of my friends needed to take a step back from running his events. So that's when I had stepped in.
Right.
He'd asked me to run one for him. So that's kind of how it started. And then just some people reaching out to me to say, hey, like we're looking to run this event and or something like that. It's kind of happened more organically versus me um, hunting for venues and looking for I think that's definitely an option is like if you're looking to run events, like you can go out and you can talk to restaurants, bars, that sort of thing that fit where you would like to play and talk to them. But I think for me, it just happened more organically that they were looking for these places were looking for someone, and I was like, well, I might as well put these events under this company, and yeah, I think I've been enjoying doing that.
Right. Well, that's great. So the other thing that interested me about your bio is that you played in Amsterdam. Amsterdam's one of my favorite cities. I haven't
Yeah.
been there since 1998, though. It's been a long time. So, how did you get that gig?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've had that question a lot. So I was booked for that by Amber Long, who's the owner of Modern Agenda, and she's the founder of the Ladies I Admire Showcase, which is in Amsterdam. She does one for Modern Agenda, and she was doing one for the Ladies I Admire Showcase as well. And I first met Amber when I was in Mexico. I was playing there at Ephemera, and I saw her. I think the next night I was there, I went to On Heaven, and I loved her vibe and her music so much. Like I remember my partner turning to me at the time and saying, "Whoa, she's playing the kind of music that you play," and I wasn't used to going somewhere and seeing that. Um, and it was great. She was dressed in like this sparkly pink outfit. I think she had like a fairy wand or something, but she was
Nice.
playing this like yeah, she was playing this like dark melodic techno. And I was just like, this is the vibe. Like, I love this. So I'd reached out to her after and just told her like how much I enjoyed it. And we got talking. And she had asked me if I wanted to put out a mix on her Ladies I Admire series. So I was like, absolutely. So I did that, and then I had the opportunity to open for her for an event in London a couple months later. And then from there, she had invited me to be part of this Ladies I Admire group, and that was the group that was invited to play in Amsterdam. So yeah, I think it was just it was amazing that she had this opportunity to be able to give to um,
Sounds like a
ladies in the
future
industry.
guest. Sounds like a future guest on Influences
Yeah,
podcast,
she would be great.
methinks.
I think she'd be great to have on. Definitely.
I'd love to have her on, and that's one thing I love about doing this show, showcasing women DJs. And I'm glad that there's a lot of strong women out there that support the community. It's great
Mm-hmm.
seeing that. I mean, I have two daughters, so I'm a little biased when it comes to that kind of thing, and I love seeing women breaking into this male-dominated industry. I think it's fantastic. So kudos
Yeah.
and good on you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I love seeing the guests we've had that are women on this podcast. And Amber would be great. She is such a huge supporter of women in the
Yeah,
space.
no,
So
hook me up with her, and yeah, let's get her done. Maybe you guys should do one
absolutely.
together. I haven't had two guests out there.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
that'd
love
be
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the Amsterdam gig, and
Yeah.
what I remember about Amsterdam in 1998. I went back, so this was a backpacking trip across Europe. I went with my brother, and so we were basically in backpacking gear, like something, probably a little bit more upscale than you would see at Burning Man, perhaps.
Sure.
Like we had
Yeah.
jeans, sneakers, and
Yeah.
we didn't pack like nice clothes, quite honestly, right? And I remember in Amsterdam, we couldn't get into the some of the clubs because they were
Oh,
membership only, and maybe weren't wearing the nicer clothes. I mean, we did find some more casual type of places, but I'm just
yeah.
wondering, so how's clubbing there different than clubbing here in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't know if I can answer it in terms of clubbing because I don't know if I really consider what I was doing there clubbing. I was there for ADE, which was such a big festival, and I think in that time in the city, it's just you're surrounded by DJs and that sort of thing. So the events that I went to see some of my friends perform at different venues if they were DJing there. I obviously performed there myself, and then we had bought tickets to a few events.
So
And
how
then
about DJing then? I mean, is DJing any different there than here, or is it all pretty much, you know, same across the world kind of thing?
same equipment. I mean, I was using the same equipment there that I use at home, which
Okay.
that was great. And I think it was a great vibe for it. I didn't really see anything that was different. I think Amsterdam in general is more liberal country. There's more access to things like drugs, but I think it's a safer access from what I could tell anyway.
Right.
And I think it was a good environment. Being there during ADE, you can really feel the creative energy that's coursing through the streets. So I came home feeling super inspired and definitely a place I'd like to go back again.
Yeah, so that great lead into the next one. When you going back? You got a timeline for that?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see whether I am back this year or another year, but I definitely like to go back again someday. And I think do more exploring. Last time I was really just there for ADE and I didn't explore a ton of the city or surrounding. And I'd like some more time to be able to do that and do a little bit of vacationing there too.
Yeah, no, it's I did the touring bit, so the club thing was just something to do at night for my
Yeah.
brother and I. I mean, we were in our 20s at the time, so
And I
that's
might as
kind
well. Yeah.
that's kind of what you do in your 20s. That's right. Or
Totally.
in your 40s or 50s, right?
Yeah. I feel like it never stops. I don't think I'm ever
I
going to
don't.
stop doing that.
I'm going to
Yeah.
see Stacy Kidd on Saturday, so yeah, no, it doesn't stop
Nice. No.
for some people. So on your social media, it references that you are a London, Ontario / Toronto DJ. and it looks like you travel in between the cities quite frequently. How taxing is that?
It's a good question. So I do live in London, but my brother and my best friend live in Toronto and Hamilton. So I'm there all the time. One, to visit them, but also for events and things like that. So I consider it my second home. Um, London has a great scene. Like there's good opportunity here, but Toronto has just so many more events. And I think to me, it's important to let organizers know that I'm available for bookings in both cities. So is it more taxing? Sure, but I think it's worth it. Especially, I think just depends. There's different kinds of events that in both cities, but
So
um,
it sounds like the reason you make the commute, one being visiting friends and family, two,
mhm.
there's more opportunities. Um, but three, I mean, you're not the first DJ producer that said London's got a pretty good scene. So why not
Yeah.
focus most of the energy there to maybe build the scene there? Or maybe
Oh,
the
this.
scene's already built and I'm just learning about it now, right?
Yeah. The scene is pretty well established as it is, but it's also only so big. So that's the thing. Like, even if I wanted to throw events like every weekend, like, there's only so many events that people can go to. So, like, we can't completely max out everybody here. It's like as the scene grows more organically, maybe there can be some more things, but I think we all work together in terms of like who's booking events and things like that, so that there's space for everyone to be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Absolutely. So you mentioned, or it was mentioned in the bio that uh, you have these festival legends. They've influenced you in your journey. Who are these festival legends, and how have they influenced you in what you do today?
Is this why it's called Influences Podcast? Is
Gosh
this your
darn right it
influencer
is.
question?
That's why you hit the nail on the head. I gotta go back to the theme. Why it's called
No, that makes
Influences
sense.
Podcast.
It's good. It's a good question. It's a good question. Yeah, so some of my favorite festival sets have been from artists like Seven Lions, Closey, Tin Liquor, Medusa. I think just the set kind of sets that give you the feels, like all the feels, and are more melodic in nature. Those tend to be my favorite, and that's something that you don't really see all the time. You're not going to see that really when you're going out all the time in London. Like, sure, there's some artists that you might see that from, but really it's more suited to a festival environment. And to me, it creates this kind of like magic for everyone there. So that's what influences me, is that feeling and the magic that these kind of sets create and that environment that they foster. It leaves people feeling so inspired to follow their own dreams when they leave. So that's my influence.
That's awesome answer. So, and finally, how do you feel that you are an influence on electronic music?
So I like to think that I'm a positive influence. Definitely what I would like to be. So I think for me, I want people to say, "Oh, if she can do it, then I can do it," because that's how I feel. I feel like anybody that wants to do this can definitely do this. So I want to share what I'm learning with others and help them on their path as artists. That's a big goal of mine this year. I'm not an expert by any means, but I think like we all have things to share, and I want to help others share their knowledge as well. So that's something I'm planning to do through my live streams with the pre-show that I'm adding this year, as well as through my Play Productions Canada YouTube channel. I'm hoping to have
Oh,
more
cool.
like, yeah, so some more support for artists and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll hit the
Yeah,
subscribe button on that for sure. Thank you
awesome.
so much for being on Influences Podcast. I've had a very fun time talking to you, and yeah, you're quite a refreshing face to the industry, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I love what you're doing here. So
Oh,
thanks so
thank you
much.
so much. I love what you're doing too. You have been watching and listening to Influences Podcast. Influences Podcast is written, produced, and hosted by yours truly, Jason Harrischuk. Also produced by Angela Churchill,
aka Purple Sapphire. My social media consultant is Christina Laukinen, also known as My Girl Tuesday. Check out Influences Podcast on Instagram at influences_podcast. That's influences_podcast. Thanks for watching and listening.